Right. I need to ask you something. When was the last time you walked past a building in Glasgow and genuinely stopped dead in your tracks? Not because of a traffic light, not because your phone buzzed, but because something about that place made your brain go absolutely quiet. Because what you were looking at felt like it belonged to a completely different world. If that's happened to you, even once, then you already know what Glasgow is doing to people who pay close enough attention. And if it hasn't happened yet, then honestly buckle up. Because by the end of this video, your entire mental map of this city is going to be redrawn from scratch. Glasgow gets described a lot. People throw around words like gritty, industrial, underrated, vibrant. And sure, all of those things are true in their own way. But what nobody talks about, what the tourist guides deliberately skip over, are the places that feel like the city built them for itself. Not for visitors, not for postcards, just for the people who were already there and already knew where to look. These are the corners that Glasgow kept quiet. The spaces that survived demolition, neglect, redevelopment, and the relentless march of modern construction. And today we are going inside every single one of them. 10 locations. Some of them are hidden in plain sight. Some of them you have probably walked past 100 times without realizing what was on the other side of that door or down the end of that alley. And a couple of them are genuinely off the map in ways that are going to surprise you. So let us get into it. Number 1, the necropolis at dawn. I know what you are thinking. The necropolis is not exactly a secret. It sits right up on the hill behind the cathedral, and on a clear day you can see it from half the city. But here is what most people miss. 99% of visitors go during the day, in the middle of the afternoon, when it is busy and bright and feels like a park. The people who know this place go at dawn, first light, before the city has woken up, when the mist sits low between the Victorian monuments and the silence is so complete you can hear your own footsteps echoing off stone that was carved in the 1830s. Up there at that hour, with the cathedral lit up below you and the whole East End stretching out in the gray morning light, the necropolis stops being a tourist attraction and becomes something else entirely. It becomes a place where you feel the actual weight of this city's history pressing down on your shoulders. Number 2, the hidden mosque courtyard on the south side. Glasgow's central mosque near Gorbals is one of the largest mosques in Scotland. Most people know the building. Almost nobody knows about the internal courtyard. It is a space of extraordinary calm sitting right in the middle of one of the city's busiest corridors. The architecture creates this bowl of quiet that the street noise simply cannot penetrate. If you contact the mosque and visit respectfully during appropriate times, what you find inside is a genuinely contemplative space that feels completely divorced from the city outside the walls. The contrast between the noise of the Gorbals and the stillness of that interior is one of the most striking things I have ever experienced in Glasgow. Number 3, the Brigade. Here is a building that most Glaswegians walk past regularly, and the majority have never been inside. The Brigade is a former fish market right in the heart of the city center, built in the 1870s, and for a long time, it sat empty and slowly deteriorating. But it was saved and converted into a creative hub, and what is inside is one of the most extraordinary Victorian interiors in the entire country. A soaring cast iron and glass roof, massive open floor space, the ghost of the old market still visible in the bones of the building. It hosts events, markets, performances. But even when it is quiet, just walking in there and looking up is enough. This is a room that makes you understand exactly how ambitious Glasgow was at the peak of its industrial power. Number 4. Fossil Grove in Victoria Park. Actual fossils in the ground, in a park in the West End. That is not a metaphor. Fossil Grove is a site in Victoria Park where, in 1887, workmen uncovered the fossilized stumps of trees that are 330 million years old. A small building was constructed right over them to preserve them in place, which means you can go and stand directly above some of the oldest visible tree remains on the entire planet. And the site is so quiet, so utterly unmarketed, that on most days you will have it completely to yourself. 330 million years old, in a park, in Glasgow, just sitting there. Number 5, the Barras Art and Design Centre at night. The Barras Market has been part of Glasgow's East End identity for generations. It is loud, chaotic, brilliant, and historically a place where absolutely anything could be bought or sold. But the arts complex that emerged from the Barras regeneration has a different energy entirely after dark. On event nights, this space transforms into something that feels like the city's creative soul surfacing from underground. The brick walls, the market architecture repurposed. The crowd that shows up is genuinely mixed in the best possible way. Old East End Glasgow, rubbing shoulders with the art school crowd and the music scene. There is nowhere else in the city where those worlds overlap so naturally. Number 6. The underground art in the Clockwork Orange. Glasgow's subway system has a nickname, the Clockwork Orange. 15 stations in a circular loop under the city, small trains, orange carriages, completely unique to Glasgow. But there are tiles, artwork, and design details in stations like Kelvin Bridge and Hillhead that most commuters stare straight past every single day. Hillhead in particular has this beautiful tiled mural that covers the entire platform. It was designed by artist Alasdair Gray, and it depicts scenes from the surrounding neighborhood with this intensely personal, almost obsessive level of detail. You could spend 20 minutes just reading that wall. Most people spend 20 seconds looking at their phones. Look up. Look at the walls. The Clockwork Orange has things to say if you stop and listen. Number 7. The Port Dundas Canal Ruins. North of the city center, where the old industrial heartland of Glasgow starts to show its bones, there are remnants of the Forth and Clyde Canal network that feel almost archaeological. Port Dundas was once a crucial inland port, an economic engine that poured raw materials into the city and sent finished goods back out into the world. Now, it is a landscape of industrial archaeology, slow water, crumbling brickwork, and a silence that feels earned. This is not a manicured heritage site. It is the real thing. The marks left by an industry that shaped everything about this city and then simply stopped. Walking those canal paths on a gray afternoon feels like reading a chapter of Glasgow that was never written down. Number 8. The hidden underground of the city chambers. The city chambers on George Square is one of the grandest civic buildings in Britain. The marble staircase alone is worth the free guided tour. But what most people do not know is that underneath and adjacent to the building, there are remnants of a closed-off Victorian street. When the city chambers was constructed and expanded, it was built over existing structures. The cellars and lower levels retain extraordinary details from the original Victorian city underneath the modern surface. The guided tours do cover parts of this, but if you ask the right questions and show genuine curiosity, guides have been known to share details about the layers of history buried beneath that building that never make it into the standard script. Number 9. Garnet Hill and the view nobody photographs. Garnet Hill sits just above Sauchiehall Hall Street, a residential neighborhood on a steep hill that most visitors never climb because there is no specific destination listed up there. But at the top of Garnet Hill, looking south and east across the city, there is a view of Glasgow that is better than anything you will find on a postcard. The roofline of the city, the hills beyond, the way the light moves across the tenements in the evening. It is a view that locals take completely for granted precisely because it requires the small effort of walking uphill. And sitting up there on a clear evening, with the city spread out below you and nobody else around, you start to understand something about Glasgow that is very hard to articulate. The city is beautiful, not in a polished way, in a way that took 150 years of struggle and survival to earn. Number 10. The reading room of the Mitchell Library. The Mitchell Library is one of the largest public libraries in Europe, and it sits on the edge of the city center like a civic monument to the idea that knowledge should belong to everyone. But inside, past the public areas most visitors see, is the reading room. And the reading room is genuinely one of the most remarkable spaces in Scotland. High ceilings, natural light, the particular quality of silence that only exists in rooms full of books, and an atmosphere of concentrated human purpose that you can almost feel physically. People are in there researching history, writing dissertations, tracing family trees, reading newspapers from 1894. The room holds all of that at once. In a city that is often celebrated for its energy and noise, the Mitchell's reading room is a reminder that Glasgow's deepest characteristic might actually be its intelligence. So, Here is what all 10 of these places have in common. None of them are trying to impress you. They are not performing for tourists, not curated for Instagram, not positioned to show up in travel guides. They exist because Glasgow built them, used them, forgot about them, loved them, argued about them, and kept them anyway. That is what a real city is. It is not the sanitized loop of approved attractions. It is the layers. The industrial archaeology sitting next to the Victorian grandeur, sitting next to the community art space, sitting next to the 330-million-year-old trees in the park. Glasgow carries all of those things simultaneously and does not particularly explain itself to you. You have to go looking, and that is the real argument this video is making. Not just here are 10 cool places you should visit, but here is a way of being in a city. The way that slows down, looks sideways, walks uphill for no particular reason, goes to the subway station slightly early just to look at the tiles. That is the mode of attention that cities like Glasgow reward. And when Glasgow rewards you, it does it fully. It does not give you a nice experience. It gives you a memory that restructures your understanding of what cities are capable of being. If you have been to any of these places, I genuinely want to know about it in the comments. What did you see that I missed? What version of Glasgow exists in your head that you have never seen described anywhere? Because I have the feeling that the 10 places in this video are only the very beginning of a list that could go on for a very long time. Drop your hidden Glasgow in the comments and let us build a map together that the tourist board will never publish. If this video landed for you, if it made you want to get on a train to Glasgow or take a different route home through a city you already live in, then hit subscribe because this channel is entirely dedicated to finding the places and the stories that mainstream travel culture leaves behind. Every single week, a different city, a different set of hidden corners, a different argument for paying closer attention to the world around you. Glasgow was just the start.